Have you ever spent 20 minutes staring at your computer screen, terrified to hit send on an email to your boss because you aren't sure if your English is polite enough?
We have all been there, but surviving the corporate world doesn't have to be scary. Welcome back to the Daily English Loop, the podcast where learning English is always easy, very natural, and incredibly fun. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Alex. Today we have a very interesting and highly requested topic. We're going to talk about, drumroll please, business English.
Ta-da! Yes, business English. I know that phrase sounds very big and intimidating, but it's actually incredibly helpful, and it's not as difficult as people think. We're going to make it very easy to understand, as always.
That's always our goal. Make it easy, make it fun. But before we dive into the corporate world, a quick friendly reminder to everyone watching or listening. Please click the like button on this episode.
Yes, please give us a big thumbs up on your screen. It helps our channel grow so much. And if you're new here, or if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for the Daily English Loop.
And share this audio with your friends, your family, or your coworkers. Let's build a huge community of confident English speakers. Okay, Lisa, let's talk business. When people hear the phrase business English, what do you think is the very first thing that pops into their heads?
That's a good question. I think for most people who work in an office, the first thing they think about is sending emails.
Yes. Emails are the absolute foundation of modern business. If you work at a computer, you probably send dozens of emails every single day, right? So knowing how to write a polite, professional email in English is a massive part of business English.
Exactly. And writing an email to your boss is very different from sending a text message to your best friend. You have to be much more formal.
Yes, the level of formality is the biggest difference. For example, if I text you, Lisa, I just say, hey. But in a business email, you should start with something like, Dear Mr. Johnson, or Dear Ms. Davis.
Right. You use their title and their last name. And at the end of the email, you don't write, see you later, or bye-bye. You have to use a formal closing, like sincerely, or best regards.
Best regards is my favorite. It's very safe and polite. These tiny little changes make a huge difference in how people perceive you. It shows respect and, most importantly, professionalism.
Professionalism. That's a fantastic vocabulary word for our listeners. Being professional means you take your job seriously, you respect your colleagues, and you communicate clearly.
Yes, and communicating clearly means thinking about your tone. In business writing, you generally want to be very clear and very direct.
Absolutely. Direct is best. You don't need to write long, poetic, complicated sentences. Just get straight to the point. What do you need the other person to do? Just say it simply.
That's a brilliant tip for English learners, Lisa. Simple is almost always better in the business world. Don't try to use giant, fancy vocabulary words if you aren't 100% sure what they mean. Simple, correct words are the best words.
Exactly. Okay, so we've conquered emails. Now what about the other huge part of office life? Meetings.
Oh, meetings. Everyone loves to complain about meetings. And in big global companies, those meetings are almost always conducted in English.
I know that speaking up in a crowded meeting room full of native English speakers can be absolutely terrifying for a language learner.
It can be very scary. But we can arm our listeners with some very useful standard phrases. For example, if you're the person leading the meeting, how do you get everyone to be quiet and start?
You can use a strong, friendly voice and say, "Good morning, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started." Or simply, "Let's begin the meeting."
That's very clear. Now, what if you're sitting at the table and suddenly you have a brilliant idea that you want to share with the group? You shouldn't just yell it out.
No, you want to be polite. You can raise your hand slightly and say, "Excuse me, I have a point I'd like to make." Or, "I'd like to add something here, if I may."
I'd like to add something. That's a very smooth way to enter the conversation. But Lisa, what happens if the boss is speaking very fast and you completely miss what they said? What do you do?
This is so important. You must not just nod your head and pretend you understand. Mistakes in business cost money. You have to ask for clarification.
How do you do that politely without looking foolish?
You can say, "I'm sorry, could you please repeat that last point?" Or, "Could you explain that process again, please? I want to make sure I understand."
That's perfectly acceptable. People actually appreciate it when you ask for clarification. It shows that you care about getting the details right. No manager wants a project to fail because of a simple misunderstanding.
Exactly. So we have emails and meetings. Alex, what about standing up in front of a crowd? Is giving a presentation considered business English?
Oh, definitely. Giving a PowerPoint presentation is a massive part of many corporate jobs. You have to stand up and present your new ideas or your quarterly sales results to the whole team.
And doing that in a second language requires a lot of confidence. Let's give our listeners some simple phrases for starting a formal presentation.
Okay, you can stand tall, smile, and say, "Hello everyone, my name is Alex, and today I'm going to talk to you about our new marketing strategy."
Or you can say, "Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here today. We'll be discussing the Q3 budget." It sets the stage perfectly.
And when you reach the very end of your slides, what's the best way to wrap it up?
You should always thank the audience. You can say, "Thank you very much for your time and attention today." And then it's standard business practice to open the floor to the audience by asking, "Does anyone have any questions?"
Does anyone have any questions? That's the perfect ending. You know, Lisa, business English really isn't about memorizing the entire dictionary. It's just about knowing these specific, common phrases.
Yes, I like to call it having a linguistic toolkit. You just pull out the right phrase for the right situation.
A linguistic toolkit. I love that phrase. Okay, so we've discussed emails, meetings, and presentations. What else is in our toolkit? What about the telephone?
Oh, phone calls. Honestly, phone calls are often the hardest part of business English because you can't see the other person's face or read their body language. You only have their voice.
That's very true. It can be tricky. So clear pronunciation is vital. When the phone rings on your desk at the office, what's a professional way to answer it?
You shouldn't just say, "Hello." You should be specific. You can say, "Good morning, Tech Solutions, Lisa speaking. How may I help you?"
Ah, you state the company name and your own name. That's very professional. Now, if the caller asks to speak to your manager, but your manager isn't at her desk, what do you say?
You can say, "I apologize, but Miss Davis is currently in a meeting. She isn't available right now."
And then you must always offer to help. You should ask, "Can I take a message for her?" Or, "Would you like to leave a voicemail?"
Exactly. And if the manager is available and you need to transfer the call to her phone, you can say, "Certainly. Please hold the line. I'll connect you right now."
Please hold. That's a classic phone phrase. Wow, having these phrases memorized makes answering the phone much less scary.
It really does. Practice makes perfect. And remember, if you're nervous on the phone, it's completely okay to speak slowly and clearly. Don't rush your words just because you're anxious.
That's a wonderful tip for all language learners. Clarity is always more important than speed, especially in business. Speaking of clarity, Lisa, there's another area where you have to be perfectly clear: numbers and data.
Oh, yes. Numbers are everywhere in the corporate world. You're always talking about sales figures, quarterly profits, and department budgets.
Right. You need to practice saying large numbers and percentages out loud. For example, being able to quickly say, "Our overall sales increased by 15% this quarter."
Or, "The total budget for this new advertising project is $50,000. You have to sound confident when you say the numbers.
And dates and times, too. Deadlines are the lifeblood of business. You need to be able to clearly state the final report is due next Tuesday, or the client meeting is scheduled for Friday at 2:30 p.m.
Absolutely. Practicing dates, times, and numbers will make you sound much more fluent. Now, let's talk about some general office vocabulary, the physical things around you.
Oh, the items on your desk. You need to know the words for your computer monitor, your keyboard, your wireless mouse, and the printer down the hall.
And the digital items, too. You deal with files, folders, PDF documents, expense reports, and Excel spreadsheets every single day.
Spreadsheet is a great word to know. And what about the people sitting next to you? They aren't just people, they're your colleagues.
Colleague, that's a very professional word. It means a person that you work with. They might become your friend eventually, but in the office, they're your colleague.
Exactly. And it's also helpful to know basic corporate job titles.
Yes, you should know the difference between a manager, a director, and an executive assistant.
And the big acronyms, like the CEO, which stands for Chief Executive Officer, or HR, which stands for Human Resources.
Learning the hierarchy of the office is very useful. But as always, start simple. Just knowing the words boss and manager is a great foundation.
Exactly. Start simple and build your vocabulary step by step. That's the Daily English Loop motto.
Start simple, build confidence, and never be afraid to make a mistake. Making mistakes is the only way we learn.
That's incredibly true. Even native English speakers make grammar mistakes in business emails sometimes. We're all human.
Yes, we are. Now, Alex, if we look at everything we've talked about today, emails, phone calls, meetings, what's the one golden rule that applies to all of them?
The golden rule of business English is politeness. You must be polite. We use the words please, thank you, and excuse me constantly in the workplace.
Yes, politeness is the oil that keeps the business machine running smoothly. It prevents arguments. For example, if you need a document from a colleague, you should never demand, "Send me the file now."
No, that's very aggressive. Instead, you soften the request. You say, could you please send me that file when you have a moment?
Or, instead of saying, "I need this report by Friday," you can say, "Would it be possible to get this report finished by Friday?"
Would it be possible? That sounds so much better. It's respectful, professional, and much more likely to get a positive response from your colleague.
It really is. Now, Alex, before we wrap up, what is your absolute top piece of advice for a listener who's just starting a new job in an English-speaking office?
My number one tip is to practice active listening.
Active listening. What does that mean in an office setting?
It means when you're sitting in a meeting or listening to a conference call, don't just focus on the topic. Listen specifically to the vocabulary the native speakers are using.
Oh, I see. You pay attention to how your boss asks a question, or how the sales director closes a presentation.
Exactly. You steal their phrases and put them into your own linguistic toolkit. You can learn so much just by quietly observing the communication style of the people around you.
That's brilliant advice, Alex. Learn from the environment. My top tip would be focus on what you actually need right now.
What do you mean by that?
If your new job requires you to answer the customer service phone all day long, don't spend hours studying how to write formal legal emails. Focus 100% of your energy on learning telephone phrases.
That's very practical. Focus your studying on the tools you actually use every day.
Yes, and always take a deep breath before you speak. Confidence is key. Even if your grammar isn't perfectly flawless, if you speak clearly, confidently, and politely, people in the business world will respect you and understand you.
That's absolutely true. People really appreciate it when you make a genuine effort to communicate well in a professional setting.
They really do. Well, Alex, I think we've given our listeners a massive promotion today. We've covered so much valuable corporate information.
We certainly have. We covered polite emails, confident meeting phrases, professional phone etiquette, and the golden rule of saying please and thank you.
It was a very productive discussion. I truly hope it helps everyone out there who wants to build their career using the English language.
I'm sure it will. But sadly, it looks like our workday is almost over. It's time to clock out of today's episode.
Oh, the time always flies when we're having a good chat. But before we officially say goodbye, we have a small request for all of our hardworking listeners.
Yes, if you enjoyed this crash course in business English, please give this video or audio track a big like. Click that thumbs up button to show your support.
And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe for the Daily English Loop. We upload fresh, helpful episodes every single week to make your English journey fun and easy.
We also want to give you a quick homework assignment. We love interacting with you in the comments section.
Yes, please scroll down below and leave a comment for us. We want you to answer this question. What is one new business English phrase that you learned today?
Yes, did you learn best regards, active listening, or could you clarify that? Type it in the comments below, or tell us about a business situation that makes you nervous, and we can help.
We read every single comment, and we love learning about your careers and your goals.
Thank you all so incredibly much for joining us in the boardroom today, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be your hosts.
Yes, thank you for listening. Keep practicing your professional English, be confident, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Take care, everyone. See ya.